Hey guys, it's Dave and welcome to the Weird Kid Show. It's awesome having you here today. Okay, so little change of plans. Florida weather here. We started getting some severe rain. I had this big project that I got coming. It's definitely going to happen, and it's going to be a really involved project. But I decided I'm going to not do it this week because of inclement weather. So I'm going to the next build that I really have been wanting to do for a long time. And what is that? I want to build a 1/1 scale bust, being I don't know, I'm going to decide where to start this thing from, but I want to build like a monster, zombie monster, I don't know, alien creature. I want to build something. Okay, I don't know what it's going to be. I have some ideas. All right, and I'm going to cheat this time. But first of all, I went and got me another one of these round plinths from Home Depot. I know wood is super expensive right now, but to tell you the truth, guys, these are relatively cheap. They're around, it's about $9. Okay, and that's also what I used for the porthole bulkhead. All right, so it's a nice pine finished surface. All right, and that's going to be our base for this creature. Now, we can use this creature later on. We can use it as it is, as a ground breaker, or you could put it on a 55-gallon drum, put some spray foam around it, and paint it toxic waste green for a toxic waste barrel with a creature, zombie, whatever coming out of it. Or just as a nice centerpiece, you know. I like that kind of stuff. I like Hollywood special effects stuff and all the stuff that comes with it. So speaking of special effects, I've said it before. I've talked about it briefly with friends of the show like Steve Catronio from Grimwood Hollow. This guy was a professional, is a professional special effects artist that hit the ground running straight out of high school. And he'll tell you too, you know, a lot of the applications that we're using in this day and age for Halloween is stuff that's got its roots from special effects industry and film. And even going even further back, those guys learned from, studied people like Jack Pierce, who made Boris Karloff, Wolf Cheney Jr. in like the Wolfman Universal Picture horror films. And they used a lot of the same types of materials. So what am I going to do? Okay, well, I am going to, I've got this skeleton. I got it on clearance last year at Home Depot after Halloween. It's the screaming version. All right, but I'm not going to use this head. I'm going to take this head off, and I'm going to use one of the Home Depot skulls that come in a 3-pack when you buy it. It's not fantastic, but it's going to look pretty good when we're done with it, all right? So what I need to do is I need to take the head off, first of all, and then I'm going to figure out where I'm going to cut this at, probably around here in one of these vertebrae in the spine, and I'm going to attach it to this board, all right? And once it's secured and mounted, we can start working on this thing. But I think what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to use this head. We're going to work on the head first. So like I said, we're going to start from the top and work our way down to the bottom. Now I have some ideas for this, okay? I'm not going to tell you now, because what I like to do is when I build things, I like to I just like to let things flow and let them dictate themselves, you know. And sometimes I might get a little lost and be like, okay, which direction am I going? And I keep going, and then at some point in time in a build, things click and it all makes sense and it all comes together. Okay, so that's why I've always said to you, don't quit. When you start a project, follow through. Don't quit. Finish it, okay? Because you'll be surprised if you start getting discouraged and frustrated. You'll see and you'll learn that if you just keep with it, at some point in time things are going to flow and start coming together. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to remove that skull head. I'm going to cut this thing, and then we're going to talk about how to mount this thing. So I appreciate you guys. This is going to be an ongoing series for this build because I'm not going to be able to get this whole thing done in one bang. So you're going to want to subscribe. Why haven't you done so already? Please, down below, hit the subscribe button, but next to it is a little bell. Click on the bell and click all. And what that's going to do is, when you watch this, if you like what you see and you want to try this yourself, then you're going to want to be notified by YouTube when I upload the next installment of this build, okay? Or any of the other crazy shenanigans I'm up to. So please, subscribe. And I'll catch you guys here in a section. Let's do this thing. Let's get into it, guys. You excited? I'm excited. Check this out. Alright guys, and we're back. Okay, so I removed the bottom half of the skeleton. Okay, there is a series of screws on the bottom if you get this model. Okay, there was a series of screws on there. I had to do it, and I saw that there was like a piece that goes into an insert inside this bottom half. And so what I had to do was I had to take, well, this is on the 1 inch, but this is a paddle bit. I needed to take a 1 inch paddle bit and drill it out. And once I got in there a bit, it grinded down the sides, and then I found the insert caught on it, and I was able to pull it out. So now I've got a cavity in here. We're going to want that. Okay. And then I removed a bunch of screws and took the head off. You can use any kind of skeleton you want to get your hands on, okay? This is what I'm ending up with here. He's going to be mounted on this plinth just above the rib cage, okay, like this. All right, now leaving the arms the way they are because I'm not quite sure which direction I'm going to go with them yet. If I'm going to just remove the forearm, or I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna figure that out when we get there. Okay. So then the next thing that I did after I removed the head was I took that Home Depot skull and then I drilled the hole here so that it can slip over the top. But I'm not gonna put this on there yet. I want to take the opportunity of having this free to work on it first before I put it on there, because we're gonna do some stuff to this before we really get into the assembly of this thing. So, and then I took that same paddle bit and I drilled a hole in there. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some 3/4 inch PVC pipe. Okay, and with my pipe cutter, like I said, I already got the hole drilled there, the spinal column's drilled out. I'm going to need to cut a reasonably, I don't know, about 7-inch piece. Okay. Alright, so we got that. Now this here, I'm going to have to probably bevel this out here because the outer diameter of the 3/4 inch pipe is a little bit bigger than the outer diameter of that, 3/4 inch paddle bit. So I'm going to need to bevel this out a little bit. And inside of it, I'm going to put 2-part epoxy, which would be, I'm going to use Loctite 2-part 5-minute epoxy, and I'm going to put it inside. I'm going to pound this in there, and then I'm going to put hot glue around the outside of it as well. One is going to take a little bit to cure. One's going to hold it in place so I can continue working on it, and it'll cure. So and then need to probably drill this out a bit more and get that up inside of the skeleton. So we're going to work this. So my job now is to get this whole thing mounted onto this plinth. Alright, and then we're going to put this thing aside and we're going to work on the head. So I'm going to come back, I'm going to show you this thing mounted, and then we're going to move on from there. This is going to be fun. We're not even into the good parts yet, so hang on, guys. Alright guys, and we're back, and like I said, I attached him to the base. I took this 1-inch paddle bit, and I kept saying 3/4 inch, I don't know why. The pipe itself is 3/4 inch, but it's the inner diameter. The outer diameter of 3/4 inch pipe is just a hair over an inch, okay? So I needed my 1-inch paddle bit that I drilled the hole in the base, and then I drilled up inside the spinal column, okay? But that's not big enough yet. So I had to bore it out, ream it out a little bit so that I could get that PVC in there pounded into the base, but not before I put some 5-minute epoxy in there and then some hot glue, okay, and then pounded it on there. I also put some inside, so that thing's all secure on there. And for good measure, I went ahead and added some hot glue on the sides where the rib cage meets the base. All right, and then also it doesn't hurt to put some around to try to bridge between the spine and the base. Now this here, we're not worried about what it looks like there. In fact, we're not worried about what any of this looks like, because it is not going to look like this when we're done with it. This is going to be a process, but it's going to be pretty fun. I'm pretty sure you'll like this. So anyways, we're done with this guy for now. Okay, so we're going to set him aside. All right, we're going to work on this skull. Now remember, drill that hole in there before you start working on this thing. And like I said, you don't have to use a Home Depot skull. If you got another skull, that's fine too. It'll work on that as well. Make sure you got that hole drilled, that your skull is going to position the way you want it to, but don't attach the skull, because it's going to be easier to work on this thing alone. We're going to want to do some stuff to this before we attach it to that permanently, and then start working on the overall figure itself, bust, if you will. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, this is, I know you guys have seen these, you probably have some. These were the Home Depot skulls. They came in a bag of 3. I can't remember exactly how much they were retail, but I was picking these up dirt cheap after Halloween when they were on clearance, and I'd stock up on them. Okay, but as it stands, no, it's not going to fly. We've got to, it needs some help. So the first thing off the bat is them teeth. All right, and they're just those plastic molded teeth. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut those teeth out. I'm going to probably try to maybe utilize this piece of plastic that's underneath, okay, because otherwise if I cut those teeth out the way they are, I'm going to have the upper jaw, but then I'm going to have this piece here, okay, so I might use it to bridge, because what I'm going to use is resin teeth. I'm going to figure out how to get these resin teeth in there. Now that you can buy these on eBay or Amazon, they're really cheap and they're cool. They are composite resin teeth, okay? And it's like the real deal. You can probably make yourself a set of dentures out of these things here. You wouldn't have to go George Washington style with the wooden teeth. Get you some composite teeth. All right, so like I said, I'm going to go ahead and cut these out. And then I'm going to go ahead and figure out, because I don't quite know. I have an idea. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to mount them in there yet. When I do that, I'm going to share that all with you. We're going to make some eyeballs for this guy out of polymer clay and glass cabochons. Might have to cut a hole there to seat them. And then we may make some ears, we may not, I don't know. But we're going to tweak this guy out, and then we're going to get him on there, and then we're going to start working on the whole thing. So first things first, I'm going to get them teeth in there. Hang tight, guys. All right, guys, so give you an update on what's going on here. First of all, the good thing about these skulls is that the lower jaw can pop right off. There's some holes there, it'll pop right back in real easy. So I took that out of the way just so I could have more room to work. Now, what I did was those fake teeth in the front, you know, the blow, this is just a blow molded skull. So what I did was I drilled a hole in one of the teeth and just kept drilling some holes in the front teeth, and then I got it to where I could start working, and I basically was able to cut the plastic using the drill bit. But then I got in there with a pair of wire cutters, what I got. They actually do the job, and then I went and just used them like scissors until I was able to cut the whole thing. Now I had to cut that bottom piece out too. So this is what you're gonna look. What it's gonna look like. Okay. Now you can do a couple of things. You can because that plastic, it's not very thick, so it's going to be kind of challenging to take like a Dremel tool and Dremel it enough so that you can get that tooth in there. So I decided to go with another method, and what I'm going to do is I got me a sheet of craft foam. Okay, and then I went and cut a thin strip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it inside here. And I'm just going to leave a tiny bit sticking out. So that I'll be able to glue the tooth to the top, but then also glue it to the craft foam just to give it some extra reinforcement, hold it all, lock it all into place. Alright, so we're going to do that. So I'm going to get these teeth in, and I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. So hang tight, guys. Alright, guys, check out those pearly whites. Alright, so it works. So like I said, if you look under here, you can see that I glued a strip of EVA craft foam inside. Okay, but what's sticking out beyond is just a hair, just enough to give this something to bite onto. And I actually used hot glue to glue those teeth in, and it gives you a chance to play around with them and put in the imperfections, you know, because not everybody has a perfect set of teeth. Okay, so those are all glued into place. I'm happy with that. The bottom was easier because once I cut the old teeth away, I found that there was already like a back flange, so I was just able to go through and glue the teeth in here. Now I didn't put any teeth here on the side where we start getting into the molars, because it's going to have some, you know, some of the cheek muscles and flesh is going to be showing. So so that's that. That's how you can do that. Okay, but we're not anywhere near done. And of course we're not going to have those pearly whites when we're done. We're going to stain them up and everything and make them look grotesque. But now we need some eyeballs. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to confess, what I'm going to do, what I want to do, is I want to create like a morphing metamorphosis, if you will, kind of like a John Carpenter's The Thing style. So what I think I'm going to do is this side of the skull is going to be corpsed and somewhat normal, and on this side it's going to be morphing into like an alien creature. I might do some like appendages and stuff coming out of it. I'm just going to go crazy with it. It's going to be yeah, I've got some ideas. Anyways, we're going to take one step at a time. So now we got our teeth in. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to move on to the eyes, and for that I used my go-to, which is Sculpey polymer clay. Alright, and I use the regular. I don't think you need to go crazy and use the other, you know, the other brands. Just the simple white stuff which you can find at Walmart, it works, it's fine. Okay, and then I used some glass cabochons. You can find these on Amazon. You can buy different sizes, different colors. You can, like, you know, fantasy looking pupils, human type pupils. I went with just a normal looking eye, a brown eye for this side. Okay, I'm just lightly setting it in there. And then I went bigger, and I put like an alien looking green lizardy looking eye, and it's going to be on this side. Alright, so no matter what, I have to drill these eye sockets out because I need to recess them in a bit. This eye here is going to be like somewhat anatomically correct. This eye here, I'm going to make it protruding, bulging out a little bit more because, like I said, this is the Metamorphosis side. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to come back and we're going to move on to the next step. So hang tight, guys. Alright, guys, so with those Sculpey eyeballs baking in the oven, I went ahead and took my paddle bit and I drilled holes in the eye socket so that I can recess those eyeballs. Now, there's things that we could do now, like This is all going to need to be plugged under here, but I think I'm going to wait until the eyes are done, because it's going to enable me to stick my finger up there and guide the eyes and position them, okay? But what we're going to do from that point on is we're going to establish how wide we want our screaming mouth, okay? And then this is what we're going to use to corpse it. We're going to use shop towels, blue shop towels, and latex, okay? Now, I've never done this before, but like I said, I've seen some people use this method, and it's beautiful. And even though it's shop towels, it's gonna be really secure because you're using the liquid latex, okay? And so what we're gonna do is we're going to create an interior of the mouth. We're going to close in the bottom of the jaw, and we're just going to start corpsing this thing and putting it together, all right? Once I get the mouth done, we're going to need to sculpt the tongue that we're going to stick in there, and then at that point in time, we need to figure out how the metamorphosis is going to be. I envision it coming out and down with all like little blisters, not little big blisters, little pussy blisters, and maybe little like tentacle appendages. Just, we're gonna get crazy with this thing and see where it takes us. So I might sculpt an ear for this side, and we're gonna put some hair on it. Like I said, we're gonna be covering a lot of ground on this. At the end, we're gonna put some tattered, ripped up clothes, so we're going to need to get clothes for it. We're going to need to weather and age the clothes, rip them up. So yeah, you can understand why now this is going to be a several part series for this build, because there's a lot to do here. It's involved, you know. But in order for you to see the continuation of this thing, you're going to have to come back next week. I'm going to work on this every week until this thing's done. All right, and you're going to find that you're going to learn a lot of different things. When I make the eyeballs, I'm going to show you how I make the little red capillaries out of using red yarn, making realistic looking eyes, the corpsing techniques, building up where there's nothing, making the little tentacles, weathering, tattering the clothes. We're going to cover a lot of stuff that you can use, not just for a build like this, but for many things. So please subscribe, hit the bell to get informed when I upload future videos. So while you're at it, check out my brothers, Keith from Cobwebs and Candlesticks and Vic Springston from Monster Misfits. Together we make for the Trio of Terror. And again, guys, I appreciate you so much. You know, I'm really humbled that you guys keep coming back every week and watch my videos and everything, and are interested in what I'm doing, and I really genuinely appreciate that. So until next time, guys, peace.